Actor Shiek Mahmud-Bey was born in Brooklyn, New York. Shortly after the birth of his youngest sister, the family moved to Jamaica, Queens. Shiek comes from a large family and is one of 5 children. He started out early. After watching or working with, I should say, I'm getting it all messed up. While working alongside actor Morgan Freeman, it was suggested to Shiek that he learned as much about the business as possible. He then enrolled in New York University, taking classes in film production, cinematography, and in writing. In August 2002, Shiek portrayed Reuben Hurricane Carter in The Way Out, a play he developed. And the New York Times said his performances was better than Denzel Washington's portrayal. The New York Daily News said that Shiek's fierce performance as the former boxer convicted of a triple homicide goes a long way toward making audiences forget Denzel Washington. Check that out. It is absolutely a privilege to bring in somebody who I know, I grew up with, and I absolutely admire, Shiek Mahmud-Bey. What's up, Shiek?
What's going on, brother? First, let me clear something up. I didn't develop The Way Out. Tim Nolan, it was a combination of Tim Nolan and myself and Vincent Morano. Tim wrote it, they came to me with it, but I didn't know. We cleaned it up, but it was Tim Nolan. That was his baby. You know what I mean?
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I got to give people their props. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And the Black press got to get it right. So
and Vincent Morano, if it wasn't for the director as well, it was a combination of all 3 of us. Because Vincent, that's my dude. He's a brilliant director and writer himself. So it was the 3 of us who hooked that up.
So before we get to what you're doing now, I'm going to stay right there with your portrayal of Hurricane Carter for a moment, because the New York papers, they are fierce. They are, a lot of times they'll tear you down big time, right? But they came out, the Daily News, the New York Times, they compared you to the great Denzel Washington. In fact, as we said at the top, they said people are going to forget Denzel's portrayal because of your portrayal. What was that like, playing the Hurricane off Broadway? What was that like?
It was off. It was good, bro. It was I used to box. That was my thing. Actually, that was my bread and butter for a minute. So when Tim and Mick Casal, who was NYU, one of our professors, that's how we connected, suggested Hurricane, who just got out of prison at that time. It was interesting because at first I didn't want to do a boxer because I boxed and there was no stretch, or too much of a stretch, and I like to stretch as an artist. But the more I read about his story, and the more and the finer the writing, the more you pulls you in. I couldn't imagine being incarcerated for 22 years for something I didn't, for anything, let alone something I didn't do. Right. So his whole process, and it was from a psychological perspective. It all took place the day before he went back in to appeal his case, and he only had one chance to do it. So it was challenging. Plus, it was Reuben, who was 16 or 13. It was throughout the things, the major parts of his life. So it gave me the opportunity to be young, to be 13, to be his grandfather, to be him. So it was challenging, and that's what I want as an artist. I always want to challenge myself.
And you already mentioned it, that you used to box. Shiek was in the Golden Gloves in New York. It's not easy to get in the Golden Gloves in New York. But how much of that led you to that role? I mean, or prepared you for that role? Well,
in acting in general, I took everything I did in boxing. Boxing, what you get in, you get out. The biggest thing I had to learn, one of the biggest things I had to learn in acting is that it's always somebody else's perspective. You train hard, you're gonna knock this dude out. You know what I mean? But you can prepare as much as you want, but it's always the director's perspective or the studio's perspective of you and that character, if they think you're the right look or feel or whatever it may be for that character. I don't think I answered your question about being compared to Denzel. I love the brother. I've met him a couple of times. He's more than just an actor. He's a human being, man. A brilliant person, a warm, giving person. He's a teacher. He understands his place and as being a so-called star. It's not. But Denzel it's not who he is what he does. Yeah. The artist, that's Denzel Washington. That's what he does. But the Denzel Washington is who he is. He's a very warm person, and it's honor. It's always an honor to be compared even though those are big shoes to wear. I ain't ready yet.
You ain't ready?
Yeah. Not ready. Not for that, brother.
Well, it's funny too, because I had the privilege of meeting him before too. And one of the things that always stuck with me, he said, and I didn't ask this question, but someone else asked him this question about his friends in Hollywood who he hang out with and things like that. And his response was really telling. He has family, he said. That's who these people that he's on screen with, they're co-workers and nothing more. So I thought that was really interesting, because when we think of Hollywood, and I think about you too, because I know you don't really hang out with a whole lot of people either. You keep your
Malona, very small. Yeah.
So Shiek, another role. I mean, there's been so many roles. For those who don't know, I mean, there was Joe's Apartment, right? You remember that?
Yeah.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But one role always stood out for me. I mean, Buffalo Soldiers was fantastic.
Thank you, brother.
You were fantastic in that. But one role always stood out for me, and it's really relevant today. Although we're talking about, I think it was back in the 90s, you did Night Falls on Manhattan.
Yeah.
And Night Falls on Manhattan was loosely based on the story of Larry Davis.
Yeah. Yep.
And so the reason why it's relevant today, we see police in the activities with the unarmed African Americans being shot down, seems like almost every hour. And in that movie, what was interesting about that movie, it starred Shiek and Richard Dreyfuss and Andy Garcia. I mean, that cast was fantastic. And Shiek, you had such a great role in that. But
thank you.
What was interesting is that the story of Larry Davis has happened in New York in the 80s. He actually killed these cops, shot these cops who were coming actually to assassinate him. And this is a Black man, and we're talking about the NYPD. So when you think about that, Shiek, you ever think back to that? And then you look at what happens today with African Americans, almost, like I said, almost every hour being shot down by police.
Okay, so I'm going to take it back a little further. My name is Shiek Mahmud-Bey. My dad was Muslim. My mother was Baptist. So growing up in our household, it was, we learned a lot. We had to grow up a certain way. Education was a big thing with my parents. One thing, so I can't just limit it to like what Larry Davis, it goes even further back. Because I remember even as a child, and I'm about to age myself a little bit, my father's from Birmingham, Alabama. I remember, one particular time we drove in to Alabama, and my cousins was like, well, let's take a walk. So we took a walk. It was dark, and they said, well, they showed us, and we were young, bro. They showed us a house, burnt down a house, half burnt. And they said, this is where they hung that little black kid. And we were like, I think my brothers and sisters and I grew up kind of sheltered. We were, knowledge was that, but as far as real life, I think in my older years, we started putting books and reality together, because it didn't dawn on me. They said, we said this is where they hung that little boy, and we were like, whoa! And you could see the noose just still sitting, just hanging there. And then you hear a car, squelching, and then we're running. My cousin's like, come on, we're running. I had to be like maybe 7 or 8, bro. We're running, and then we're like, who's that? You hear, come here, niggas, and they was like, that's the KKK, bro. It wasn't until Roots came out that I knew who the KKK was. Wow. Then I put the two together. So Larry Davis, and then now, when I go past Larry Davis, I go back until when I was a kid. I was born, I just gave myself away a little bit, but to that and to here, and my dad was always about, my job is to keep you alive. Yeah. And I never really, to have that conversation then, and to have sons now, and to have that same conversation, to me is deep, bro. Is deep. It's not a time that I personally, I pray a lot, for especially for the safety of my children, of my sons, my sons mostly, and their friends, because their friends are like my sons. It's the community that I live in is a community, and everybody's child is my child. That's how I grew up, and that's just, But it's crazy to have that same conversation, that is still going on, and it's freaking worse. Maybe it's worse to me now because I'm an adult and I really see it, and I was protected by my parents, but it's just like bad. It's bad that when you can look and say, you see cats doing everything they're supposed to do, but they still get killed. It's like, and this may sound ignorant, Stacey, and I'm gonna open up. I told myself in this interview, I'm just gonna open up, a lot more than I normally do. It's scary, it's sad, and it kind of kills the belief in the system sometimes.
Yeah.
One thing I never really understood through all the experiences of racism in my life that I've experienced, I've never understood racism. I never really understood that kind of hate. When I was coming from Detroit, I go back and forth to Detroit because I shoot a lot in Michigan. At this particular time, I was driving to Chicago. It was 4 or 5 in the morning. The cops stopped me, and they did a whole lot of ugly stuff. But because of my dad, I knew how to handle myself. But nevertheless, these cops were like, this guy took my license. I told him I was going to the airport. He took my license. Thank God I had my passport. And then I said, yo, you're going to take my license? And he turned around and grabbed his holster. And I looked at him like, for real? But the look in his eyes, I'll never forget, bro. I was like, he would shoot me? He's doing wrong, but he would shoot me because I want my license, It's just, it's really, I never understood that kind of hatred, bro. Because I didn't grow up in it. Like I said, my mother was Baptist, my father was Muslim, and my surrogate parents are Jewish. So I didn't grow up with that. It's hard for me to understand that kind of hatred. I don't think I've ever hated anything or anybody like that. But anyway, I went on.
That's okay. Again, we're talking to Shiek Mahmud-Bey, writer, director, actor. Shiek, did you think that, or did you think that in 2020, because you were referring to even pre-Larry Davis, 1980, you were talking about the 70s, you were talking about the roots, and even before that, did you think in 2020 we'd be having this conversation?
No. Bro, we all bust our butts to do the best for our kids, and for the society, and for it not to move or progress. It's like, what's going on? What is this about? It doesn't create a sense of apathy. I don't want to give up, but you a lot of times I'm like, where's the kink at? What's wrong? And there's a lot of reasons to go wrong, but then the right is not coming out. I had a conversation with a friend of mine one time, and I said, and this is, I'm gonna go deep, I said, bro, are we worshiping the wrong guy? It seems like the wrong is more wrong being done than good. So do we have it wrong? Where is God? And he was like, Shiek. And I said, no, seriously, where's God, bro? Where's God? I grew up in a household where there's a huge respect. A good Muslim is a good Christian. A good Christian is a good Muslim. And when I got older, and my surrogate parents, Judaism, they all say the same. That the Quran, the Injil, they all say the same thing. So in the Torah, I'm like, so what's wrong, and why is wrong so overwhelming? Why do I have to keep reading and feeling so threatened because I'm African, because I'm Black, of African descendant? Why do I have to worry about my kids and my kids' kids and their friends? Why is it so prevalent to be so messed up? Yeah. Why isn't the good winning enough? There you go. Why isn't the good winning enough? And that's where I'm at. You know what I mean? That's where I'm at.
So those are questions you still have.
Yeah, I ask myself, hell yeah. I'm that dude who, religion and history were my favorite subjects. And because of that, even as a child, I'm like, okay, so what are they talking about? Why? And I've always asked that why. So it makes sense that I'm an artist, because that's why is that favorite word of an artist? Why?
Yeah. Again, we're talking to Shiek Mahmud-Bey, actor, writer, director, also a teacher. Shiek,
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about, and again, we're going to talk soon. We're going to talk about shortly. We're going to talk about what Shiek is doing now. I mean, he's working on so many different projects all the time, but there are some things that are pending that are must sees. But Shiek, tell us a little bit about, you were talking about. I'm losing my train of thought here, but anyway.
That's cool. I have that effect on people. I do the same shit. I just come out writing stuff down. I was like, hey, let me write this down. It's that old age catching up on us.
It is, right? It's been a long time, man. But you know what? You once played a role, and you were just talking about religion. You once played a role. I want to ask you how tough it was to play this role of a Catholic priest who was accused of pedophilia. Yeah. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, that's a Tim Rowland. That's the Tim Rowland role. You know, he wrote that as well. That was rough, bro. That was rough because, and I had to fight for that role because, you know, I don't care what they say. They wanted Ed Norton for that role, and I hope they're looking at this because I know, you know, and because you know how many African American priests do you really see? You know what I mean? So I had to fight a little bit for that role, but it was hard. It was hard because I love kids. You know, it was, and I each character is a different attack. I don't pursue each character the same way because it's the individual people and they come to me differently. You know, I work through my spirit, you know, so they come to me differently. So I find myself going the technical way, and I'm going this way.
I think we kind of froze up a little bit. We're talking with Shiek Mahmud-Bey. He's having a little technical issues here, but we should have him back in a moment. However, just a little bit more about Shiek. His work earned him. We talked earlier about the Broadway show that he did, The Way Out, as he played Reuben Hurricane Carter. It earned him a place as a New York International Fringe Festival winner in the Best Performance category. And then the following year, he returned to a sold-out run of Acts of Contrition, where he played the Catholic priest accused of pedophilia. And as he was saying, the producers initially didn't think he would be believable as a Catholic priest.
Yeah.
But he did it. He pulled it off.
Yeah. Sorry, am I back?
Yeah, you back.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. All right, cool. So yeah, they didn't, you know, I found myself attacking it different ways until, like, you know, sometimes I just sit still. And so then it was like, go from this, you know, so I had to understand pedophilia. I had to understand the psychology behind rape, even pedophilia, and different, you know, the character guides me a lot of the times. But I still couldn't get it. You know, sometimes things aren't going to click, you know, and I didn't freak out. It's just like, okay, you guys sit still, you know, and then things started happening, and it wasn't, there's dialogue in the play where there's this monologue where I'm talking to God and I'm talking to my peers as well. And it's just like, each night I did this monologue and I had to talk about why, and the actual incident, this particular incident that sent me on vacation, you know, and I had to visualize this child, you know, this young boy, and it just wasn't clicking until I actually saw the innocence of a child. And that I usually don't talk about what I use, but because children are so innocent, and it was just this child that was, you know, there wasn't in the play, this is all in my head, but the child, I saw the child and me taking advantage of his innocence. You know, he trusted me, you know, so that's what it was. So I could never get across the actual pedophile, you know, the actual action of molesting the child, but it was the child's eyes, you know. I created this child in my mind. I didn't substitute. You know, substitution sometimes messes with me, you know. But this child I saw, and it was here up. It was his eyes. The fact that he trusted me, and I manipulated him, and you know. So that's what it was for me. But it was hard. But that was it for me. That's what I had to use. Yeah. You know. And he's a human being, and whatever character I portray, my job is to portray that character, tell his story. So the humanity of what it is. So you can't you can't judge a character. You have to live through him and to experience him to tell his story, and that's what it was.
That's
So
interesting.
yeah, but it was hard. It was hard.
Now, do you have a
Challenging.
preference? Yeah.
Of what?
Stage or film?
I'm a film. I like film, television, bro. I respect. I love theater. There's a time for that. When I'm making 20 million a movie, I'll do like Denzel, go do some Broadway. You know what I mean? And come on back. But if it's Broadway, I have such respect for theater actors. You can't be a sufficient actor if you don't do theater. The discipline of theater is a whole different animal, man. To get up and go live every day and sometimes 9, 10 shows a week, and you got to give 125% each night, But it's just the discipline of your instrument, So yeah, but I like the money and the traveling of film. Phil, what you do in film, and one day you make that. I'm like, nah. I'll do a movie in a minute. And I love to travel. That's one of the things I love about this industry. I love to travel. I'm like, well, I'm going to Japan. Shooting in Japan? Yeah, let's go. You know what I mean? So I love to travel. But that's we grew up like that. As kids, we would travel.
Yeah, one of the things we always do here at Black Press USA, we always acknowledge those who are watching. Just a couple right now: Nefertiti Warren, Brandy Adams.
Okay.
Annette Phillips has joined us as well. Annette Phillips is we appreciate Annette. Annette watches us all the time, and we certainly always welcome Annette with open arms. She supports us all the time, so we always appreciate her. Go ahead. You're going to say something.
Nefertiti's the head writer of my company. And Brandy's along with my company, the characters, so I'm always loving the support. She's a brilliant writer. Actually, most of the stuff that we do, it comes through her and the writing team. She heads off the writing team. But we'll talk about that when you're ready.
Well, let's talk about Smoking Good, because
right
now, it's a scripted drama series that's based in the world of cannabis, and it chronicles the journey of August Good, and you play August Good. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna tell you some of it. I can't tell you too much. First, that was written by Ken Williams, who's a brilliant writer, and it's sort of autobiographical. Andre Watson, Ken, Andre, and I got together. Actually, Ken is the one who brought Andre and I together. We had a mutual friend who brought Ken and I together, and then we was looking for something to do, so he brought in Andre. And it's Smoking Good is interesting because it's cannabis. I don't smoke. I don't drink, I don't do a lot of things, so there goes the challenge. Now, what I'm learning is how big this business really is, and so this character is basically a guy who grew up in the hood and, a street drug dealer who has that business mind, and he's using it, it's the business mind of the hood, and he just took it and said, this is bigger than just here. And he has the ambition. He's a single dad. Somewhat, he has a woman, they have their conflict, there's a love-hate thing going on between him and the baby's mother, a lot of complications. This piece is brilliant, bro. This piece is freaking brilliant. I'm directing, co-directing as well. I have Kamal Smith, who's a brilliant director in the D. What up though for the D people? He's a brilliant director. He's got 3 episodes. I got 3 episodes, and we just collaborate, man. Right now, he's directing a feature. He comes out on the 13th, and we come back together. I'm pulling it right now to come. It's just, this piece is going to be freaking hot. The cast is remarkable. The woman playing Phaedra, come on now, come on. We got this. This is Phaedra's the love interest, But it's like this whole cast is freaking brilliant. We have Asian, it's multicultural, Asian, white, black, Chaldean or Middle Eastern. This is, and it takes us into the cannabis world, which is new to me. Go ahead.
You're totally excited about it, obviously.
Yeah, man, yeah.
That's exciting. When can we see it?
Well, production starts. We're in pre-production. We actually, principal production starts on October 2nd. You know, we're shooting for 6 weeks, you know, from October to November, all in the D, throughout the D. You know, we were trying to get to Canada, but, you know, with the COVID thing happening and SAG and all that, so we said, we're just going to do it, keep it simple. But I'm excited about this. I'm excited for the challenge of acting and directing as well. I love it. I got both sides of the coins, and I got a great director to have my back on it, you know. But yeah, I'm excited about that. Yeah, this is, you know.
Yeah, it's so funny because Shiek was saying he doesn't smoke or drink anything. Shiek comes from a family like the Jacksons, like the they're like, what? So it's amazing. Yeah. You hear him on screen, and if he says a curse, he's like, he's not supposed to curse. He's
yeah. Oh, no, but it's a military family. Oh, we curse. And, you know, we just.
I got cursed out by a family member.
Yeah, you can tell my mother, she pulled no punch. Mommy was rough. But that is the way doing that military stuff. She had to take care of 5 kids. She tell you one time. You know. Shoot.
Look, I'm just gonna say this. I always admired your dad. I was always afraid of him.
Yeah.
Always afraid of him.
He was. Yeah, my parents were interesting, man. They were the best. Your
parents were awesome. They were. Awesome. They were the epitome of what any Black family would want. Any family, period. But Black families in general, we know we draw a short straw all the time. They say, you know, we have divided families, et cetera, et cetera. Your family, man, your parents were just awesome. They treated me like I was one of the family. I know Shiek's favorite word for me was I was like luggage.
Luggage. He was always there. Yeah, and you would pop up everywhere. I come out the ring from a fight. I'm like, Stacey's here. The fuck? It's like, how'd you even hear about the fight? It's like, I was like, wow. It's like, he's here, you know. Like who ate up all like Hurricane too? Yeah. You know, collaborations. You know, I'm like, who ate up the last piece of chicken? Stacey.
Yep.
I was like, damn. You know, don't you got a house? No, but we loved you. You know, as long as mommy, because you know you got to take your shoes off in the house. As long as your socks are clean and your feet and all that, she's cool. You know, but you can't come into the house with stinky feet.
Yep, yeah. Your mom,
play that.
Your mom was just a fantastic person. She used to star in The Profiler. NBC's The Profiler, a great series back in the late '90s, early 2000s, I think. And I lived in California, and Shiek's mom would give me a call every Thursday night. It's Shiek night. What you doing? Yeah, I had my cheeseburger, my orange soda, and some nachos every Thursday night. Mom called me. Donna, I'm looking, I'm waiting. She's like, okay.
Wow. When you told me that the other day we were talking, it almost made me tear up, bro, because my parents, you know, when my parents, you know, when they moved to when they died, they passed away. For a minute, I didn't want to do this anymore because I had to convince them that this was okay. You know, my mom and dad are old fashioned, stability, get a job, you know, blah, blah, blah. So, you know, you tell them you want to act, they're like, you want to what? How you gonna pay the bills? How you gonna do that? How you gonna get a house? You know, they didn't want you rent. They wanted you to own. You know, my parents owned their own business. So renting wasn't even an option. It's like, how you gonna own? With acting? That's a game. That's just, you know, that's the same. That's a hobby. But when they saw that limo come through, and my mother, when I went to Cali, because I didn't even know what a screen test was. I auditioned for the role in Profiler. And then the next, I auditioned for a Thursday, and then they were negotiating and going back and forth, and they flew me out on Monday. And Tuesday I was at NBC, and Tuesday I think it was at noon. And when they drove me back to the hotel, I had the job. I walked in and walked out with the job, thank God. And I remember going to the hotel, and there was a big thing of champagne and chocolate strawberries. You know, the chocolate you dip, strawberry you dip in the chocolate. Yeah. You know, and I was like, you know me, I put the champagne to the side. I was like, you know, chocolate. I've got a mad sweet tooth, and I'm laying on this big ass bed, big California king, you know, and so you can feel like a whole family. You know, and it's that, and I'm like, mommy, you know, my mother had on, she did hair, so I'm like, mommy, she said, yeah, she said, how'd it go, you know, and I said, Ma, I got it, and it was just like one of those moments, bro, you know, she said, oh my God, Shiek, Sheik. And I was like, Ma. And I told her how much. She said, oh my God. And it's just like, that was a magical moment. So to have my parents who just totally just was against it, to finally win them over. And then now they can't even appreciate this shit. It's like, oh my God. So for a minute, I didn't want to do it, man. And then I think then I started, that's why collaboration. And I said, well, let me help other people.
Yeah.
I live vicariously through my students because I was, I didn't want to act. I fell into acting. It was Louis Martinez who said, okay, good. After one of the collaborations, he said, good. Now you need to get back in front of the camera before they forget you can act. And then I started feeling it again. And then, the whole thing of from actor to director. See, teaching taught me how to direct, teach me how to really talk to actors and the whole, so it made me a better director, I should say. And then now the hunger is back. And then that's like, okay, I want to act. And then that's when I can act. And then that's when I got an agent manager and, we're making it do what it do, and now I'm in it. And then I'm in it again. And mommy and daddy, they're right there with me. I feel them, bro. Feel them,
Yeah, they were certainly special people. I will say that's for sure. Explain to those who are watching who may not know what collaborations is.
It's a showcase of what it is. I went to it's an opportunity for actors, writers, directors. What it is we audition actors. We rehearse and create this showcase for directors, and we invite directors, casting, and all other elements of the industry in. And while the actors are showcasing their talent, we're being entertained, food is being bought, everything's happening, and then the network afterwards, and opportunities created. That's what collaboration is. It's just that collaboration, everybody getting together, all the elements of movie making, get together and make it happen, showcase the talent, and things happen. People have gotten jobs, people have gotten agents, managers, representation. The industry is about networking. So that's what collaborations is.
And it's amazing to give so many an opportunity, because to many who don't know the business and who want to be in the business, they're looking for a break. They're looking for an opportunity, and collaborations appear to give them that opportunity.
That's what it's about. There's a lot of talent, man, but it's unseen. So that's it's a vehicle for visual to create, and create opportunity. That's it. It's a platform. There you go, a platform to create that opportunity for behind and in front.
Yeah, and you also teach. You also teach acting. Want to tell everyone where you teach or how you teach?
Well, now everybody. I teach everybody. You just gotta want it, because the class is hard. The class ain't for everybody. And I realized, I had a conversation with a young lady today about that. I don't teach just. My objective in teaching, because I was against teaching until I said, I was driving one day. To me, a teacher was a failed actor. So I was in denial. I said, I ain't teaching because I failed. That's like admitting that you make it. So, but then I was driving in California, and the fly, he teaches. And I was like, wait a minute, if the fly is teaching, because he ain't hurting, So then, and he kept coming at me. Huh? Yeah, Jeff Goldblum. Yeah. I thought everybody knew the fly. Yeah, Jeff Goldblum. I said he can teach it, So then, but my peers and so-called celebrity friends, I was running lines with them, and they were like, "You should do this." I was like, "Nah, shit, no." But I said, okay, if I'm gonna teach, I just don't want it to be like any other class. I'm not in it just to get I'm not saying that people do that in it to get the money. My objective is that if I'm going to teach, I need to see people working. So the class is hard. You can't take my class 3 times. Right now we're doing monthly sessions, twice a week. But you can't take my class 3 times and not get a job. You're not allowed back unless you get a job. A student film is something. I don't want professional students. I want professional, actors. You can come back and get polished up, in between gigs, and I'll help you while you're working as well. But you can't just be a professional student. You're not going to just keep rotating and you're not getting a job. No, you got to get a job. The class is not for everybody. I push hard.
Yeah. So is it open to?
Open to everybody. Yeah.
So yeah. is there a website or something?
Yeah, Shiek Studio website, and Instagram, Shiek Studios with the SHIEK STUDIOS. You know, you can DM me. You know, go to the website. Yeah, you know, and it's
briefly,
Monday and Thursdays. Classes on Monday and Thursday online.
And just briefly going back to collaborations, are you still doing collaborations, and how often are you doing it?
Well, we haven't done it in a while because right now the whole COVID thing, so that's out. But you know, we're doing other things. We're so busy shooting content, you know, and submitting to festivals and creating opportunities other ways. You know, and collaboration was in New York and Detroit. You know, now out of you know, I've created. I have a company, or two, three now. But you know, the characters is the artistic company, you know, which is slowly beginning to turn into a production company. And that's for Nefertiti. And I got two queens running it, man. These girls are bad. Kasha Sarkis Stewart, she's president, and Nefertiti Warren, she's the head writer, you know. And Malachi was one of my students. They used to be my students, but now they're like, you know, we're creating our own content. And that's what the characters is about. It's about a group of artists, you know, and we're in-house. You know, we have our own DP, we have DPs, we have writers, we have a writing team, a marketing team. You know, so we've been actually this last weekend, we've been shooting content remotely, you know, and then we got other stuff lined up. We're about to run a crowdfund because we're going to start. We have a project we want to shoot before Thanksgiving, you know, to knock it out, you know. So, but yeah, we're doing the damn thing. You know, and that's Detroit. It's Detroit and New York. You know, we're doing the damn thing.
It's so interesting because just a moment ago, and I have to say this because Shiek was kind of choking up a little bit, right? And I've never seen Shiek cry ever, right?
I didn't cry, man. I didn't cry. What you talking about?
40 years, right?
Yeah. Oh, I ain't that old, but okay.
and look, I just remember when I was younger. You know, Shiek was not. He was not playing that. Don't be crying around, Shiek. What's wrong with you? No. And one time, I said, "Oh man, I think Michael Jackson's Thriller was out," and I was like, "Man, I gotta get one of those jackets." And Shiek was like, "You better get a Stacey Brown jacket, not Michael Jackson."
That's what's that. Oh damn! I said that to you. That was you know, that's my dad. That's my dad talking. Ain't nobody greater than you, man, but God. You know what I mean? That's my dad, you know. And that you know, Stacey, I'm glad you brought that up because I don't believe in praising anyone. You know, yes, I honor you, I respect you, you know, but given the same opportunity, you can do what I can do. I hate when people used to call me a star or say you're a star. I'm like, no, what I do, you can do. All you got to do is put the effort in. You know, that's all you got to do. There's nothing impossible. And that's my parents. You know that. That's my parents. You know, we didn't play that. So yeah, damn, I told you that. That's what's up. That's what's up. That means that my parents did their job. Yes.
All I said was, man, I would like to get one of those jackets. He was like, you can get a Stacey Brown jacket, not a Michael Jackson jacket.
That's right. That's right. You know, love for Michael, but you know, be you, because you're just as good as Michael. You know, shit.
Look, Shiek Mahmud-Bey, we have tonight our special guest on Fire Black Press USA Live. Nicole McDaniel says, "Hey, Antoine Jackson's in the house."
Dude, that's my dude. That's my dude. He came to class. He's been acting for like maybe a year, if not a year. He's been in class for 6 months. I kind of like let him have a little because he just finished. I don't know if he's rapped yet, but he's the lead in this movie Narc, you know, and he's been bouncing from movie to movie. Now here he's been in class for 6 months. You know how long it took me to get a lead role in a movie? Like 10 years. I was like, bro, but he's a beast, man. Dude used to blow my phone up, you know, and he's like, Shiek, I'm sorry to call you so late. I didn't care, bro. If you want it, I got you. And so now it's paying off. Hard work is paying off. Now he's killing it. I'm so proud of him. I'm so freaking proud of him, you know. Also, I have this agent because, you know, I this other student, she's a director. I'm into female directors, Stacey. And she's Indian, you know. Kalpana, Kumar, you know, she's killing it. She came from class, you know, I teach at New York Film Academy as well. You know, she came to class and she said, yes, what I want to do. And I'm like, yeah, you hear that all the time, you know, but she's doing it, you know, like she'll send me her stuff. She makes me crazy. But it's a good crazy. It's a good crazy. It's a good crazy because she's getting it, And one of the things I always tell people is that keep shooting, you get better and better, because that's what I do. Keep shooting, you get better and better. And she's just shooting. She taught herself animation, bro. She sent it to me the other day. I was like, "You did this?" She said, I was like, "Damn." She taught herself how to do animation, and it was good. Her projects are really freaking good. She's very political though, so I'm like, she's women these days. They ain't playing. They ain't taking no mess, and she's doing. I'm proud of her. I just want to put that she's standing out.
It's interesting, Shiek. You mentioned hiring a lot of women directors and other roles.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that the way that Hollywood should have gone a long time ago?
I think there's a time and place for everything. I think because I could say the same thing about Black, African American or, Black, and Indian artists. I think everything happens when it's supposed to happen. I believe in that. It took me a long time to get to that. Maybe I'm getting older, but I think now is the time because now we can appreciate them more. And because of that, I want to see more. There's a project that I'm developing about I've been working on for a while. That I definitely want to star in, and I want a female director. I'm just looking for the right female director. Actually, it might even be Kaja. She's president of the company, and she's really, really growing as a director, and it might be her, for this project. But no, it's the time for it. It's the time. Ava DuVernay is one of the people who inspired me. And she never went to film school. I'm like, damn. Go ahead, girl. No, that's brilliant to tell that kind of story so effectively and never have went to film school. That's a gift. That's from another realm. You have to respect that. I study her work, how she breaks down stuff, and I listen to her talk. She's brilliant. She and Tarantino. Tarantino is another one of my favorite. That brother is gifted,
Lisa Renee Miller.
She's a brilliant actress too. Brilliant.
Carol M.W.
Yes. That's what's up. These are my people. Wow, they're showing up. That's what's up.
And and there she is. Is that who you're talking about? Kumar? Kalpana Kumar? Yeah,
Kalpana. Yeah. Come on. Kalpana Kumar. Yeah. She's a brilliant director coming up, doing her thing.
Heather Neely Tibbetts says, "Hey fam."
The D. That's what's up. The D. Woo woo. That's another brilliant actress. Yes.
Yeah. So Shiek, you got this cannabis picture coming out. Are you working on it anyway? Smoking Good. We know that you got so many other projects coming up. But is there a role? You've done so much too. But is there a role that you haven't had yet that you really want?
I want to play Monk.
What?
I want to play Monk. I want to play Monk. Monk is one of the people who moves me, man. This last character, we just rapped Cash the System. I just rapped as playing as this brilliant muse. He's blind. It's very political. Kamal Ahmed, who directed me in The Martyr Maker, is a very political dude. And he wrote this role, and I gotta say, to this day, that's one of the hardest roles I've ever portrayed in my life. But Monk was the music behind this character. My father and my godfather, Nathan George, who was also one of my acting coaches, loved Monk, loved jazz, and so when I started listening to Monk, I was like, I want to play this brother. And I started reading up about him and just to hear, he had a saying, man, play your music and let the world catch up. And when I heard that, that's me. I have Monk had all of his peers blowing up, taking off, doing their thing, but he stayed consistent. They didn't understand him, they didn't get him, but he stayed on his path. He didn't get caught up in all this other stuff. He stayed on his path. He stayed in his path, and then they finally realized how brilliant he was. His friends knew it, but they didn't understand why the rest of the world didn't get it. But that's I want to play him. I want to play Monk.
Wow. And that sounds interesting to me. I can actually see it. Denzel did a jazz guy, right? So
yeah.
Here we go, compare you to Denzel again, right?
That's cool. Hey, that's good. That means I'm doing something. That brother's brilliant. That brother's brilliant.
Now, I know, and you and I talked about this even before going live. I know that you you usually talk about the two heroes in your life, or at least two of the heroes, right? Malcolm X and Frederick
Frederick
Douglass.
Douglass. And my dad. My dad is first.
Of course, your dad. So when you draw inspiration, I mean, how do you draw inspiration from them, I should say?
All of them except my dad. Well, actually, my dad too. My dad, the military raised him. You know, he lied about his age to join the military to support his family. They all came from nothing, and they've rose to the top. You know, Frederick Douglass had a pass to the White House. You know, he didn't know how to read or write. You know, Malcolm X, sixth grade education. He was debating with, you know, with the top of the supposedly Harvard or you know, the most smartest people supposedly in the world. And he, you know, and my dad was a professional student. You know, he worked, he had the military, he worked, and he was in school. You know, when he was going to Sergeant Major Academy, he had to pull out his all these academic prizes, I call them, certificates or whatever. And I was like, Dad, you did all that? He had a table, the dining room table was full of all that just so he can apply for the Sergeant Major Academy. You know, those are my heroes, man. That's how I am. You know, I've been on my own 17, 18, I think. And it's just like that kind of, it's like, you know, so those are brilliant people. Brilliant people.
And for each of them, your dad, Malcolm X, Frederick Douglass, if they were here today and seeing the condition and what's going on in the United States, particularly as we talked about earlier, not just with the police killings of African Americans, just on you got the president, the racism. What would they say today? What do you think they would be saying today?
I think they're all strategic or strategists. I think what would be in their mind is to let's gather and put the minds together. I think they would gather the forces, as my dad, you know, gather and there'd be a strategic plan. I think a strategy would be a big thing. They had so many obstacles against them. I don't think they will focus. I don't think they will focus on what's wrong. I think they'd be focusing on what's right. What can we do opposed to what's happening to us? You know, to achieve that kind of success that they've achieved, to accomplish the things they've accomplished, they didn't focus on what was wrong. I'm sure Frederick Douglass didn't say, I can't read. And if he did say, I can't read, how do I learn how to read? If you focus on what's wrong, you're not getting in, you know, you're not gonna get a damn thing done. You're gonna be the same place. You're gonna be a gerbil. You're gonna be the same place you were, you know. But if you, like in anything in life, if you want something, you focus on that. You see that. My dad used to say the quickest way from point A to point B is a straight line. You know, here I am. How do I get there? You know, and I think that's what they would be. You know, I think that's where their minds would be. You know, and you just gave me an idea for a movie, bro. You know? Yeah, The Table. Call it The Table.
The mind is always the
wheels always
right. Yeah.
You know, my Mick Casal, my NYU professor, he said, you know, Shiek, everything's a movie. And he never lied. Everything to me is, I can't turn it off. Everything to me is a movie. I'll be in a restaurant, drop something, I'll be, oh, wait a minute, hold up. It's a movie to me. And it'll just, you know, then I'll get a writer to write it, or I'll write some of it out and, you know, bam. You know?
You mentioned earlier about when you took the job on The Profiler, right? And how excited you were. When you think back then, look at all the credits under your name. If anybody can go to your what's that, IMBD page or whatever.
Yeah, IMDb
page, and you see the credits. Did you ever think that you would have accomplished all of what you? I mean, it's enormous.
No, and there's so much more I want to do, bro. No, if you'd have told me I'd been an actor, I'd have been like, get out of here. You know, because I thought I was gonna be a $1 million fighter, man. I was looking at Marvin Hagler. That was my dude. You know, I was like, yo, I'm going in. You know, and first round, my first fight was a first round knockout, 1 minute 13 seconds. You know, this is my thing. I'm gonna fight. You know, and I was angry enough to do it. You know, if you'd have told me I'd been an actor, you'd have told me that I would have my peers and who they are and being able to pick their brains or hang out with them when I'm in California or when they come to New York or when I'm in, you know, it's like crazy, bro. I would have never thought. And the fact that I can say I want to make a movie and I know how to actually do it. You know, it's phenomenal. I was saying the other day, I was like, how did I learn this? You know, what the hell happened? You know, I remember auditioning and now I'm directing, acting, producing, and I'm collaborating with other collaborators, other creatives, and we're just making it happen, you know? And I think that's just, you surround yourself amongst those who want to win like you want to win, you know? And then because this industry, you go up and down, and in your down times, they lift you up, you know what I mean? And in their down times, you work back and forth, get up, you got this, you can do it. Come on, Shiek, or come on, so-and-so, you got this, get up. Ain't no tears. And that's the ancestors, you know, ain't no tears. That's, dude, Chadwick Boseman, I never met the brother, but his passing affected the hell out of me. He's ancestral. What was in him is not normal. It's not average, you know? So it's that kind of stuff, you know, that keeps me going personally. The ancestors, you know what I mean? They're like, they push me. So yeah.
Wow. And, you again, I've said it, you've done so much. Is there a role that you did have that you felt like you enjoyed that the most?
Nah, I love it all, bro. I love it all. I think it's a blessing to do what you love to do. I love the most now. Even each character, I walk away with a little bit of me. I learn a little bit about me, and I grow. You know, and Roni Dengel and Fredrick Rolf, those are the ones who took me out the cradle, you know, and sort of carved me into who I am now as far as artistry. Roni said to us, it was a group of us. He said, you know, there's gonna be times you're portraying a character, and you're not gonna want to let them go, you know. And so each character I portray, there's a bit of him that I hold on that completes me, that makes me who I am, you know. I grow from each person, so it's like they're all great to me. Even the crazy wild dude in Joe's apartment with the roaches. That, you know, each character, yeah. And I love this, bro. I love it, man. I love what I do.
Can you see yourself doing more comedy?
You know something? Who said that to me the other day? My boy Ronell Cox said that to me today. He said, "Sheek, you should be doing more." And I was like, dude, I want to do comedy. I used to be afraid of comedy, but people say I'm funny. You know, I can be funny. I want to challenge myself across the board. I want to be the best I can be, and there's nothing I can't do. And even if I can't do it, I'll never admit to it. I'm gonna do it.
So you're just gonna keep going, right?
That's it. Until I can't memorize lines anymore. Then I was like, I can still do it. You know, behavior is 80% of communicating. Let me just behave. Let me just be in the moment. If I can't really get to the point where I can no longer remember lines, I'm like, okay, let me just be there in the moment and behave. I'll find a way. This is like a calling for me. You know, the first time I got on stage and heard the audience, I was like, oh shoot, this is it. I remember going behind stage to a Run DMC concert, you know, and I'm looking at them, and I was like, whoa, it's like a sea of, I said, this is crazy, you know?
Yeah.
I was like, yo, it's like a love. I love what I do. It's like I was watching them, they love. It's nothing more fascinating than watching the artists do what they love doing, or anybody doing what they love doing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. What about a sci-fi or superhero flick?
I'll do it. I would love to be a superhero. You know, for a long time, I wanted to be Black Panther. I ain't gonna lie. I was mad at first saying Black Panther, but then I got too old to play the dude. So I was like, you know what I mean? I was like, see, this is some bull. But then, you know, Chadwick did his thing, man. You know, and he was chosen for that role. He was chosen. He's a real king. You know, that brother is bad, brother. That brother is bad.
Is there shows? Actually, Melba Moore checked in. She says, "Love Melba Moore."
Oh, Melba Moore.
Yeah.
The Melba Moore.
It looks like the Melba Moore.
That's what's up. Whoa! Come on now,
Melba.
Wow.
That just threw me too, right?
Me too. I'm like, Melba Moore. You full of surprises though. I'm like,
But you
Dr.
know,
Ben,
I had,
I was like,
and
this,
that was
who
the
you
other
rolling
thing.
with? I was like, who are you, bro?
Yeah, Dr. Chavis actually, Ben Chavis is who Shiek is referring to, our president and CEO. He's out in Arizona. In fact, he was the keynote speaker today on this forum on race and sports. And on the panel, it included the president and CEO of the Arizona Diamondbacks, the Arizona Cardinals, the Phoenix Coyotes hockey team, NASCAR, and some other bigwigs. And it was a really interesting panel. Talked about race and sports. They talked a lot about Colin Kaepernick and in hindsight, what they see now. I mean, it was a really interesting discussion. But so he couldn't be here tonight, Shiek.
Yeah.
But she says, Melba says yes. It really is.
Wow, that's what's up. I've made it now. I've made it now. You know what I mean? I just had a conversation with Melba Moore. Come on. You know what I mean? I'm doing things. Damn it.
We've had Stephanie Mills and Cece Peniston and Salt for Salt and Pepper and so many others on this program. We got to get Melba Moore on, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's what's up. You know, Stephanie Mills is one of the reasons why I'm acting. You know,
yeah,
mommy took us to go see The Wiz.
Yep.
You know, my mother was, my mother was all into culture. Like Wednesday was Music Appreciation Day. We would sit at the dining room table, listen to music and write down, with pen and paper, write down our thoughts. And then we had discussions every Wednesday, So mommy would take us to see Broadway plays, us and the neighborhood kids. And I went to go see The Wiz. And I was like, damn. And then after we go home, there's a debriefing, about what we saw. We'd have to write reports on it. We had to write about everything growing up. Anyway, we had to write, and we had to discuss those. And Stephanie Mills was that person, The Wiz. And then, ironically, years later, I met her, and I was like, she's like so short but beautiful, And I was like, you're the reason why I started acting. She's like, don't blame me for that. And we started laughing. She's a beautiful soul, But yeah, she's still around, which is beautiful because her voice is like, she was Dorothy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she was Dorothy.
She was Dorothy for real.
Okay, so Melba says she's already scheduled for Fire.
That's what's up, September
24th.
That's what's up. She ain't playing.
Very nice. All right.
That's what's up.
We'll get to see Melba right here.
That's what's up.
Where you sitting right now, Shiek? How about
that? That's what's up.
But one of the primary reasons I wanted to bring Shiek Mahmud-Bey on, because it just shows. I mean, this dude has done so much, and it also shows too. He never forgot home. He never forgot Stephanie Mills and home. He never forgot home. He never forgot I could pick up the phone, call him, and this is what we get. We really appreciate you, Shiek. We got a couple of minutes left. What do you want? First of all, what should people be looking for other than and we were really looking for the way you hyped it up now, Smoking Good. We were looking for Smoking Good. But what else is coming down the pike this year? Thank goodness this year is almost over with, right?
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, 2021 is right around the corner, so I'm sure we're gonna have a lot from Shiek. So what can we expect? Give us a taste.
Well, I'm still pitching Inner Circle. Paris and I still pitch Inner Circle. That's a TV show, our drama. We have Smoking Good. What else? Crash the System. I just wrapped that one out. And the characters we just created 3 or 4 different shows that are going to be. We have Silkiness. We have what's the name of this one with the? We have Silkiness. We have a few all girls. We have one with all girls. I forgot the name of it. Neff is gonna kill me. We have like four different shows that are coming out. From the characters that should be dropping by November. We're gonna start dropping, and we have a funny one. I'm doing comedy actually.
Okay, there it is.
Confessions. I'm playing a priest, a Jamaican African priest who's just like so they call it with confessions. So we have Chill, Therapy and Chill. Thank you, Terry. Yeah, Therapy and Chill. Thank you, Terry. Therapy and Chill. So we got like 3, and then they just started shooting the Repeated And then in November, we're shooting Plan B. You know,
Okay.
Plan B is also, and Dilemma. Dilemma is about to drop. Finally, you know, I've been working on that. I like the pieces that we do are character driven. You know, so Dilemma is about schizophrenia. You know, that's going to drop pretty soon. Actually, that's going into festivals. Plan B is about a brother who's in a wheelchair, you know, and his relationship with his wife, you know, and that's very spiritual. Like, what keeps her there, you know? And it's about that relationship, him dealing with his manhood, and his woman right there supporting him, which is nice. So our pieces are they're psychologically driven. And Cosmic Confessions, that's the one with the priest, you know,
Okay.
the comedy, you know, but that's, we're very dealing with the psychology, and they're a great story. I feel like I need to hurry up. I'm looking at you, like, look at the time. So it's like, I'm dealing with,
it's on you, so that's okay.
We're doing, they're character driven. Great stories are character driven, you know, so that's what we're doing as characters. Yeah. And we write, direct, and our own thing. Go ahead, brother.
And real quick though, Inner Circle. You and I talked about this a year or so ago.
Yeah.
Inner Circle. I actually saw a little preview of that, and what's the status of that? And can you just briefly tell people about Inner Circle? It's powerful. I can tell you that.
Yeah. Well, it's about a psychologist who's and a 28-day program, recovery program, a psychologist who I'm portraying, trying to balance his life, you know, and help those who are in a rehab, you know, recovery. But it's got a lot of twists and turns because his daughter's also a drug dealer. His mom's an ex-drug addict. So it's got a lot of twists and turns, and it's about him trying to hold it together, balance it all out, having all these things coming at him. You know, I love the piece, bro. And it's taking a minute to get it going. We get close like anything else and then get pulled back. But, you know, a couple of studios said, you get a showrunner, you know. I was working with Sandra Moses for a minute. Ian Sanders is he passed away. He's one of my greatest inspirations as far as producing, because he was brilliant and open and loving. Like, it's not a day that I don't think about this man. Like, he and his wife, Kim, took me in, man, and they just like treated me like their own. These people are like, I've been so freaking blessed, bro. So blessed, man.
Well, look, your son is writing in.
Esau, what's up, Papa? Yes, sir. That's my inspiration too, man. Your family, man, it's not like family, man. It's to have your sons and your daughter look at you and say, hey, to have your family support you the way my family supports me, bro. You know, and the sacrifices they make. Yeah. And believe me, I know that they make them. Don't think I don't know. Trust. I know. That's why I gotta produce.
You gotta produce, you know? And you gotta take them on a long vacation somewhere, some island or something. You gotta hook them up.
Yeah. Definitely. We get away.
And by the way, Melba Moore will be on, as she stated herself, and
that's what's
up. Norman does give me a day off every now and again, so Taylor Thomas will be hosting that night. So just so you know, I do get a day off. Sometimes.
Oh, that's it. What, really? Wow.
Yeah.
You work just as hard as I work. You work just as hard as I work. Shoot.
Yeah, it's an hour off. That's all. Don't you know? Let's not get it twisted, right? Anyway. Yeah, your son says, "Get it." Little Mackie Day. Check that out.
Little Mackie Bay. That's my little man. Yeah. He ain't the little man, no man. He's 17, but yeah, I got a great family, bro. Great freaking family.
You do, and we have. Norman said we can fix it so that you can have some more time.
Okay. I'm down. You know, so I ain't gonna lie, Stage. I was, you know, I get nervous before these things, but I guess when I get in, it's like, okay. It's like getting in the ring. The walk to the ring is always like, you know, it's long, but once you get in the ring, it's like you do what you do. You know, the first punch is thrown.
I find that to be so crazy because Broadway, film, TV.
That's how it is, bro. You're only as good as your last job. You know, each job or each opportunity is like starting all over for me. You know, I don't. Yeah. It's not what I've done; is what I do now. Yeah. You know, in the moment, moving forward. You know, and that's just how I've always thought. You know, thank you for what I've done. Thank you for appreciating what I've done, but I still have to do better. Each for me, every gig that I do has to move me. You know, I don't believe in this lateral movement. I believe I have to go up. I have to move. I have to, because my parents, my dad and my mom always said, you have to do better than we did. And my kids, I put that same pressure on them. I don't call it pressure. There's no time for compromise like that kind of subtlety. You have to do better. And I think that's ancestral, the sacrifices your parents make for you to do something. You need to take advantage of the sacrifices to move, because your kids need to, it's got to be upward movement.
Yeah. Well, only for Shiek we go over time. My brother from another mother.
Word, that's what's up. Oh,
you,
damn, look at that. Melba Moore gonna be like, yeah, I better get that same treatment. I ain't mad at you, Melba. Hopefully she'll sing. Hopefully she'll sing something. Shoot.
Yeah, she just might.
I'm putting it out there. I'm putting it out there. I'm putting it out there for Melba. Because I'm a damn sure tune in. I'm gonna tune in and say, sing something, Melba, sing something.
Well, listen, Shiek. Always appreciate it, man. My love to the family. Keep
Thank
up
you,
the great work, man. I'll be
brother.
Obviously following it, and Black Press will be following it too.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for your support and love.
Shiek Mahmud-Bey. Check him out, and you guys stay safe, and we'll see you on Friday. We have the mother of Philando Castillo, 7 o'clock Friday, special interview. Join us then. Everybody have a good night. Thanks for joining us.
All right, brother. Thank you.
Take care.
Bye. All right, bye-bye.